Hi, I'm Lisa K. Donner, along with Graham Noble, Sarah Calgill, James Fight, and Jeff Charles. And this is the Conservative Five, Liberating Nation's online TV news program. Whistleblower Mania has invaded the U.S. much like the Beatles did in 1964. Every great scandalous political news story seems to have a tattletale responsible for the sordid mess. Hunter Biden's laptop is one great example. The multiple FBI whistleblowers are wreaking havoc at the J. Edgar Hoover building, not to mention those blowing the whistle on Elon Musk and the Twitter deal. It seems like every day a new whistleblower comes forward. Are these folks snitches or patriots? Jim, name the scandal and I'll find you a whistleblower who's behind it. Why is this happening so much in American politics these days?
You know, I think the more important question is why hasn't it been happening for a whole lot longer? Look, I love these people, especially the ones exposing government wrongdoing, malfeasance.
Well, that's originally the dictionary explanation for what a whistleblower is.
Yeah, we've kind of expanded that out with, like, you got the the Facebook, Twitter whistleblowers. They're okay in my book too, but I mean, like, all right, let's look at Hunter Biden, right? So now we're hearing that the FBI agent assigned to be the point man in charge of dealing with Hunter's old business partner, whistleblower, Tony Bobulinski, I think it is. Now there's news coming out that's saying, like, this guy actually suppressed evidence. I'll be clear, an allegation that this agent actually suppressed evidence.
Yes, and attorneys for Tim Tebow, the FBI agent, obviously not the athlete,
right,
are denying this.
Right, but evidence that the big guy referenced in Hunter's emails was, in fact, as many may have suspected, surprise, surprise, Joe Biden. These people in our government are entrusted with a great deal of power over us. But I think it becomes too easy to forget that they're supposed to be our servants, not our rulers. So when it comes to exposing the wrongdoings, I'm all about it.
Anybody out there remember the Snowden case and how the perception has kind of shifted and changed from way back then?
Hey, I was with Snowden back then.
Snowden was a hero. He was a hero, and now it's like, I don't know. Well, maybe it's just a change.
Well, wait a minute. If Sarah, let me ask: if we consider Snowden a hero, then do we consider Julian Assange a hero?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm okay with anybody.
Sorry, I know my name isn't Sarah, but the answer to that is absolutely.
No, I mean, I don't care. Yeah. Leak the truth all day long. It's the made up crap that drives me nuts. Leak the truth. I don't care, but it depends on who's in power and how well it goes over. Now they're just making enemies out of everybody, and depending on who you want to pick on, you might wake up dead. And I know that sounds very drastic, but somebody debate me on that issue right now.
I think a lot of the problem we got here is that, and the reason why whistleblowers are these days kind of almost persecuted by the agencies on which they are blowing the whistle, is because we have this permanent government bureaucracy where it's almost impossible to get fired from your job if you are a federal bureaucrat in the federal government. And they have these you're set for life with a job like that. You have these, you have these pensions and other benefits and healthcare, and it's the just about the cushiest job in the world and the safest job in the world to be a federal government bureaucrat. And so therefore, when somebody does step up and say, hey, there's some funny business going on here, everybody else is terrified because they're doing anything they can to protect this solid, future that they have in front of them. And I think we would get a lot more people blowing the whistle on government malfeasance if you had, I don't know, for want of a better term limits on government bureaucrats. These people shouldn't be as safe in their jobs as they are. And they shouldn't get all the benefits that they get. And I think if working for the government was less of a perfectly secured future, then I think people would be more willing to actually come forward and say, hey, there's some things not right here.
All right, Jeff, but is it more that they've been there a long time, or that they're not parsing out their jobs impartially?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, if you've been there for a long time and you've been acting politically and getting away with it, why wouldn't you stop? If you're being corrupt and nobody's doing anything about it, why would you stop? You have power. And that's the problem. Our government has gotten so bloated and it's gotten so I don't know what the word is, but they've put in protections now for people in government so that it's almost impossible to fire them. I'm hoping that if more of these whistleblowers come out, I mean, you had more from the FBI saying that they don't have confidence in Christopher Wray's leadership. We need as much of that as possible, because when this stuff is exposed, then the people will hopefully the people will rise up and say, no, we need people who are going to go in there and change things. And I know Trump tried to change some things on his way out, but it was too late. We need more of this. I mean, our trust in institutions has declined, according to a Gallup poll released a couple months ago. And I think that's a good thing. We do need to have a healthy skepticism, because we're never going to solve these problems if we blindly trust them. But I think the problem is that a lot of us just don't know that this stuff is going on. We're distracted by, I hate Republicans, I hate Democrats, black and white people don't get along. No, while we're doing that, the elites are doing all kinds of stuff that is not good for any of us. And it's not going to end up in a good place.
Yeah, I'll just
want to
throw
point
this out
something
there.
out to Graham. That Graham, most federal employee jobs are boring. They're not where you are in any position to see or hear or be a part of the scandalous, interesting stuff. So for those people that just go to work every day, 8 to 5, take an hour for lunch, take their 10-minute coffee break and their 10-minute soda break, they probably deserve a pension, because that's got to be the most boring, horrible job on the planet.
I don't know. I personally, the libertarian in me tells me that every single person who works for the federal government should live in constant fear of losing their job.
It's a choice to be made. You choose to work for that beast. You gotta. You want to rep the tags. You gotta pay the consequences.
Yeah,
well,
I agree. Graham, everybody.
It's put in place to help people who are just doing the job that they're hired to do. They're called covered employees. And it's put into place so that every 4 years, somebody can't just wipe them out and put in every idiot that comes in with a new leader of the free world. And that's a good thing, because you just can't whack everything going on. You have to have some sort of tradition. You have to have something in place.
Continuity.
And that is a good point, Sarah.
Yeah.
That's a
Continuity. Thank
point
you.
taken.
I'm going to push back just a little bit, because I do agree that continuity is important. But remember when Trump got into office, you had a lot of those Obama holdovers that were explicitly working against his agenda politically. So I do think there needs to be more of a balance. Continuity is important, but at the same time, if somebody is actively working against the commander-in-chief, the one who runs the White House that the people elected, they got to go.
Well, and they should go. And that's why those people are usually at the will. And if you are at the will of whoever is in charge, Trump just kept them on, and then probably shouldn't have. Yeah. But he should have just cleaned house. Anybody who was an at-will employee, which means Obama personally brought them in or Obama's cronies brought them in, then they should have been whacked immediately. Well, but you don't try to go out and fire the minions, the grunts, the people that keep the wheel moving.
Right.
So, I think we've stumbled upon the real problem here.
You take out your at-will people. You don't ever take out the lower guys.
Jim,
you got to have something in place.
I think we've stumbled upon the real problem here, and any libertarian, or for that matter, country folk out down here in the South will tell you this: the wheel's too big. Probably a good 75% of those jobs shouldn't exist to begin with.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, well, there we are. Whistleblowing is an act of courage fraught with landmines, personally and professionally. But perhaps that's the point. Those willing to take such a risk with nothing to gain promotes believability. Thanks, panel. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform. YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble, we're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation has its own Roku channel where you can see all of our TV productions. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, surf on over to libertynation.com. Join us in the member zone, just $17.76 for the year. Thanks to our fantastic editor and post coordinator, Frank Diorio, and our executive producer, Sarah Calgill. I'm Lisa K. Donner, editor-in-chief. Thanks for joining us today. This has been a production of LibertyNation.com, where truth is making a comeback.